Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Fancy reliving the glory days without emptying your pockets, getting this season's kits without leaving yourself skint? Well, you can at okjersey.com, where retro kits and this season's fits from every major beast across Europe and the Premier League don't break the bank. That iconic Leeds 70s strip, Liverpool's 89 Hillsborough Heroes, Manchester United's 99 Treble Terror, and even Arsenal's invincible Shimmer. Juve black and white Zebra Classics, Real Madrid's Galactico Whites. What a player R9 was. Inter's Nazuri Knights under the San Siro lights. PSG's stylish 90s flair. OK Jersey have got them all, direct from all the vaults. Authentic retro fire at prices that leave change for a pie at the match. No fancy markups, just pure kit passion. Free shipping for all orders over €50. And if you're part of the Just Joe family, you can drop the code JUST at checkout for 8% off. Because supporting the Mighty Whites or your continental crush, Tacticos, Barca, I'm looking at you. So gear up, don't break the bank, and go to okjersey.com, where history and current prices are affordable. Scan the QR code now, hit the link in the comments, and don't forget to use code JUST at checkout for 8% off. Peace out. Now let's get back to the Boss Show. Now then, people, welcome back to the Boss Show. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, your one-stop shop for everything Leeds United and Premier League. I hope you're all doing well this morning. It's crunch time on Sunday for Daniel Farke. It's do or die time for me. He has to get 3 points. If he gets 3 points in this fixture, he's then afforded a loss against Man City, and then we'll see what we can get against Liverpool and Chelsea. But these 4 games will decide for me whether or not the manager keeps his position, or indeed we do look to change. I, for one, hope that he can get through this run of fixtures, including Villa, relatively unscathed. And obviously, if we keep him by the end of the season, it means we've had a positive season and Leeds United are staying in the Premier League. Now, look, we couldn't have asked for a tougher test, really, over these next 4, not least Aston Villa, who are purring like a pussycat right now after battering Bournemouth 4-0. They have a very good squad. Didn't start the season well, but as I say, Unai Emery has now got them ticking along nicely, and they're into the top 6, where they probably will hope to be. Their aspirations are for the end of the season. And look, it doesn't make for great reading either going into this fixture for Leeds United. We're actually on the verge of a new unwanted club record. We know that Daniel Farke has been a record breaker for quite some time whilst at the football club. This is one record he won't want to break, though, because this will be, if we fail to score, it will mean that we have failed to score in each of our last 3 home games against Aston Villa. So it'd be the first time in our history that we would have 4 blanks in successive home league matches against a single opponent. So recent history has showed us that Aston Villa have been better than us, and we've failed to score. But a return to home comforts is exactly what we need, is exactly what the doctor ordered, because obviously we were humbled in our last 2 away games before the international break. We've got 1 win in 5, and that came against West Ham at home. We also conceded 6 goals and netted just once in the last 2 away games. So we're in a poor run of form. We're in a barren spell in front of goal, and we're leaking goals at the back. That needs to change. But home, creature comforts. We've actually only lost once this season at Elland Road. We played some decent sides as well. We beat Everton. We drew with Newcastle, obviously. That one solitary loss coming against Spurs, who, by the way, have the best away record in the league. And I would argue for large parts of that game, we were largely better than them. So there's a lot to look at these home fixtures and say, right, we got 3 home fixtures in the next 4. Yes, it's against tough opposition, but we're going to be difficult to beat, you know? So let's hope we can do that. Like I say, Forest has come back, condemned Farke's men to a 4th defeat in our last 5 Premier League matches, and that leaves us in 16th spot in the top flight. Again, still not in the relegation zone. We are just 1 point better off than West Ham, though, who are in the drop zone. So it could all change this weekend, of course. Issues at the back, which is something when the season started, I didn't really subscribe to this notion. I still subscribe to the notion that structurally, tactically, we're actually decent. We don't let a lot of XG on our goal, but when the goals do come, they've been through lack of effort, through lack of desire, from poor positioning, simple errors, really, for me. We've now, though, failed to keep a clean sheet in any of our last 8 games since we held Newcastle to a goalless draw back in August. That has to change. That Newcastle game, I saw Sean Longstaff snapping it in the tackles. I saw Ampadu tuning up the band. That seems to have gone from the side, so that needs to change. Look, our record against top half teams also makes for grim reading as well. I can't lie to you. So since October 22, when we beat Liverpool 2-1, we all remember that Jesse result. There's a lot of fans now making the, comparison with Farke and Jesse. I don't subscribe to that notion. I think it's wild, but everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? So since that win, that's our solitary win. That's our solitary win since 22 against sides that sit in the top 10 of the table. All of our last 7 successive results have come against clubs ranked 13th or lower. I remember a period of time where Marcelo Bielsa would just always beat the bottom times, hence why I didn't understand why he would be sacked. But he did get sacked, and we move, and well, now it's 2025, we've got Daniel Farke. I need to move on. I need to forget about Marcelo. He's staying at Uruguay. We move. Now, look, Aston Villa's early season form, it looks spooky. You could argue they looked like what you would consider a team that could end up 13th or lower. The fallout from not getting Champions League football, paying big bucks for the likes of Asensio and Rashford. But look at the situation they find themselves in now, because after failing to win any of their 5 top flight games of the season, netting just once in the process, they've prevailed now in 5 of their last 6 in the Premier League. The only loss coming at reigning champions Liverpool at the start of the month, who were in poor form, by the way. So could we take a little bit of solace of that? They were expected to beat Liverpool that day, and they didn't. And they'll be expected to beat us as well. But listen, apart from that solitary loss against Liverpool at Anfield, they bounced back in the most emphatic way possible, decimating Bournemouth 4-0. That's huge, right? Moves them into top 6, and they're only trailing Chelsea by 2 points. So that's how good they have been. And to beat Bournemouth 4-0 is no joke. We've seen Bournemouth how well. We almost beat them, but if you look at their form over the course of the season, it's been pretty special. And look, again, doesn't make for great reading. It's pretty grim, but Aston Villa now come against the Leeds side who they have not been beaten by since October 2020, just 5 years ago now, going unbeaten in 5 straight head-to-head since then. Admittedly, some of them seasons we've been out of the division, but they beat us 5 straight times on the spin. And the last time we actually beat them at our place was 2003. So our record against Aston Villa isn't the best. We've had some humdingers over the year, especially during the time when Dean Smith was there, Bielsa, John Terry. We all remember. One thing's for certain, though, in this game, there will be big chances missed by both sides, because it turns out that Leeds United and Villa are statistically the Premier League's worst 2 teams when it comes to converting big chances. Just shows you, doesn't it? We're on par with Villa. They're 6th. We're 16th. We're creating similar chances. We're creating similarly big chances. We just don't have the gunman. Just like Villa at this moment in time have an Ollie Watkins who's failing to find the back of the net. And therein lies Leeds United's problem. We do create big chances, but we just can't find the back of the net. We need Calvert-Lewin, who has a decent record in this fixture against Villa. We need Metcha. We need whoever it may be to be in front of goal to make sure they fucking finish it, because that is what's letting Leeds United down. Structurally, I think defensively, it's lapses of concentration. We're actually all right defensively. I personally believe the stats and the structure backs that up. Finding the back of the net, again, alongside Villa for statistically being the Premier League's worst when it comes to converted big chances. That needs to change. If these things change, Leeds United will be fine. In terms of being fine, one thing we are fine of course, is our lineup, because after the international break, where we had a lot of players playing, we got a full, clean bill of health. Everybody's fit. Bornau's fit. I mean, not that he'll play. He's a unicorn at this point. And Willie Gnonto, he's back. He's back. He hasn't played for 8 weeks, but he's back and will be in contention. And I do believe he'll start on the bench. So, look, in terms of team selection, will there be wholesale changes after back-to-back defeats? I'm not too sure. I do think I will see some changes. I think Dan James comes in at right wing for Brendan Aronson. I think Calvert-Lewin will start up top. I'm not sure on the midfield three. It'll be whatever an Amper do. It don't really faze me. They're all similarly the same player in effect in what they do in our system. I do think I'd like to see Stack playing the 6 at one point, but hey-ho. The manager has his selection, and that's what he's gone for. And listen, we've seen Stack score goals. He can do that. I do think we'll see a change at left centre-back as well. I think Pascal Strout will come back in because he's better at progressing the ball than what Jacobi Ol is, and we do need to be able to progress it at pace. At times, Leeds United have been laboured. They've been pretty poor. Now, on the other hand, Aston Villa come out of the international break with, a few fears. Eric Konza, Cash, Bogard and Anna all sustained problems while representing their national sides. So, if you're losing someone of Konza and Cash's quality, that's huge. Amadou and Anna, they don't have a lot of number 8s. They don't have a lot of midfield enforcement. That, again, will be a positive. They all will train on Saturday, though, according to Emery. So we'll have to wait and see. The only confirmed absentee they do have is Tyrone Mings. But as I say, Cash, Konza, Bogard and Anna are touch and go. Hopefully they don't make it. If they don't, Andreas Garcia will probably come back into contention, and obviously Victor Lindelof could also be used as an emergency right back if needs be. Wouldn't have minded Lindelof at Leeds United. He'd got starts, I think, at Leeds. But I've given you my lineup. Like I say, it's going to be Perry, Bogle, Rodon. I think Strauch will come in. Goodmanson, a midfield three that includes Ampadu and one of either or two of either Stack, Longstaff and Tanaka. On the right will be Dan James. On the left, Noah Okafor. And up top for me will be Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, in terms of prediction, I have to believe I can't go into games not thinking we can get something. Our home form shows us we've only been beaten once, and that was by Spurs. You could argue Villa are a similar quality. They're flying high. So a lot of people will say that they're going to beat us. Some will say they will crush us. I think we can get something from the game. All three, please. For me, for you, for Farke, for Leeds United, more importantly, because we want to stay in this division. I'm going to go for a Leeds United 2-0 win. That's going to surprise folks, but I've said it all week. I think Calvert-Lewin will get the opener, will defend well, and then manage to get one on the counter. Maybe Dan James is involved at some point. One thing I don't want to see is us go in front and then sit in and just wait for them to break us down. That can't happen. Elland Road is our fortress, has been our fortress this season, and long may it continue. Listen, if you're watching this early doors, please join me for today's bumper watch-alongs. If not, join me for the match on Sunday. Big up. Football's back. 4 months of uninterrupted, unadulterated football now. Back-to-back. No international breaks, no breaks. January transfer window soon come. It's all going to be exciting on the channel, so make sure you're locked in and loaded. And thanks, as always, for watching the Just Joe Football Show. I love you all. Peace out. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.